Ronnie J Show.
Ask not.
I'm going to get really deep with you and your audience now. I'm sorry if it shocks anyone, but I personally, when I was 16 years old, I got raped.
Ronnie J Show.
Just do it. Because once you start, you'll then improve.
Ronnie J Show.
Ask not.
And why do men cheat, or why does anybody cheat on their partner? The thing that really triggered me when I was going on my walk and I was thinking about this was that we actually blame the other person.
Ask not.
Ronnie J Show.
They haven't really done internal work that requires to build the resilience, the strength, and the self-awareness of them.
What your country can do for you.
We must be very careful not to compare our relationships. It's toxic.
Ask what you can do for your country.
Hi everyone, you're welcome to the Ronnie J Show again. I hope you're well. Today I have the amazing presence to be with Dr. Trust, and we're going to talk about how to encourage diasporas to invest in Africa and what are the challenges and why they've been discouraged. But first things first, I'll let her introduce herself. Hi Trust, just introduce yourself please. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Trust, Dr. Trust Butenyo Trust Penyo, and I'm a lifestyle specialist. I'm based here in London, and I am from Botswana. As you can see, I have Botswana flag in the background, and I've got elephants in the background.
Tell us about the elephants. What's the association with elephants? I know the big safari in Botswana, but go ahead.
Yes. Elephants are a huge thing in Botswana actually, because what happened was most elephants around the sub-Saharan countries, they emigrated to Botswana because Botswana was looking after them. As you know, elephants are, they're moving creatures. They move from one point to another, depending on how the environment is suitable for their needs. So we had an influx of elephants. So lots of elephants that they actually created huge controversies in the news. Last year, people were just talking about elephants in Botswana because suddenly there were more elephants than people.
Is this true story?
Yeah, it is. There were more elephants than people, and they were now creating problems. I mean, you cannot.
I can imagine the nuisance.
You cannot cohabit with elephants. I mean, they're huge, and they were just destroying our homes, and the government of Botswana was saying that let's cull the elephants. And the international media came in. They zoomed in, as you know. Oh, Botswana is bad, and they're trying to cull elephants and things like that. There's always interference where Africa is involved.
Yes. Anyway, now we know that. Well, fantastic. Today we're talking about diasporas investing back into Africa and what challenges they face and why they've been discouraged. In your opinion, what do you think what would encourage diasporas to go back and invest in Zimbabwe and Botswana? Sorry, I keep saying Zimbabwe. Botswana. Yes.
I'm from Botswana.
Botswana, yes. Go on.
Well, diasporas can be two things. They can be a liability to their home country, or they can be an asset. So if a country looks at diasporas as an asset, they can actually put policies in place that can attract diasporas back to their home country. Most diasporas, they move out from their country because they're searching for greener pastures. And most of these people would be talented people searching for better opportunities. And they're searching for better opportunities abroad. So this is why we call them diasporas, because they are abroad. And their home countries have invested, in most cases, have invested a lot in them, investing in education and their development. So if they leave the country is losing, isn't it? But then if the country invests in attracting them back or attracting businesses from them back, then they can benefit a lot because they can actually increase the economy. They can
Mm-hmm.
support the economy of their home country.
Mm-hmm. So
So what can actually encourage diasporas is is the ability of their home country to put in place policies that can actually attract or encourage them to invest or to come back or to do businesses back home.
saying that though, don't you think the policies are already there? Don't we already
That's,
have these policies that
that's
to
a good
encourage
point, actually.
diasporas?
That's a good point, especially in Africa. Our policies are very good in press. I mean, they're very good in paper. They're very impressive. But then when it comes to implementing them, that's a different story. This is where we're failing. Our leaders are really very good coming up with these policies that attract us or that can actually bind us or help us. But then to implement these policies becomes a challenge. They're good on paper, but the action speaks a different story.
Would you
Yeah.
not say that diasporas seem to complain a lot and don't actually take action to? They don't really want to go home, but they just complain. Would you agree with that?
Yes, diasporas do complain, and most of their complaints are valid. This is because sometimes when you try to do things back home, you get discouraged by people who see you as a threat. Sometimes you want to invest back home, you come with money, you want to invest, but then they look at you thinking that you're going to take businesses, they would do everything to discourage you. Even when you have intentions of improving, it could be education, it could be healthcare. For example, you're doing an enormous job improving healthcare back home. But some people could be jealous of that and they would really try to bring you down. And this discourages other diasporas to actually do a lot. But diasporas already spend a lot of money to their home countries through remittances. We send lots of money to our families and relatives. For example, I've got figures here. In 2015, we spent more than 430 billion US dollars. And these were coming from immigrants from emerging and developing countries, of which in 2019, the figure rose to 551 billion US dollars.
Wow, to Africa as a whole.
Yes. It's a lot of money, isn't it?
That is a lot of money, and it is concerning. And when I look at it I just want to go back to what you said. You said when you try to invest in Africa, they, as you said the word they, try to frustrate you. When you say they, are you talking about competitors or are you talking about the government?
It's everything. All the leaders, especially I would say the government would put in place all these hierarchical steps or stages that you go through. And sometimes, for example, even when you want to invest, say, in bonds back home, it could be not very attractive for diasporas to get into, or not very simple, because sometimes the policies, even though they appear good, you try to penetrate, you find it's not as easy as they say. So it's both, really. You're looking at it in many ways.
Give us a practical example, so that whoever is watching from Botswana could understand and relate to what you're saying, because we could speak hypothetically without being more specific. Like if there was a particular business you want to go set up in Botswana, what would frustrate you and what would frustrate a diaspora? And can you think of something?
Okay, I can give my example, actually.
Good.
I think it was last year. I was trying to work with the minister of Botswana to try and improve the standard of education back there by contributing in the curriculum, so that we can improve the education, looking at, because I've worked in the education system here in the UK for several years, and there is something that we use, which is the school management system, that I thought, okay, because I know that in Botswana we don't have that system, we could implement this, because I know how it can actually help with the education. I personally talked to the minister, but after that, really nothing progressed. There were lots of, okay, I'm too busy, and this, we have to wait for this and this, and
Bureaucracy.
Yes, yes. I cannot actually pinpoint exactly what the delay was, but there were delays such that it didn't happen in the end. You see what I mean? And this led to frustration. Of course, I was frustrated because all I wanted to do was to help.
So it's more like transparency and honesty in terms of, if you can't do it, just say, listen, we can't do it, rather than just prolonging someone's hope and prolonging, which becomes frustrating for the diasporas in that point.
Exactly.
And I can see that. And would you not say that's part of our culture, though? Our culture is just...
It is in many ways. It's part of our culture. And also what I realized as Africans, we are more of, I don't know how to describe, the culture is more of myself. We are more selfish in many ways when it comes to business, that we don't want to share, or we don't want to help each other. Because if you help someone, then this person is going to overtake you. And this is the mentality that we've got.
Oh, it's so
hard
sad.
how we that mentality. It's
so
sad.
oppressive, it's like, if I help this guy now, if I help Trust now, Trust is gonna make money, and then Trust is not gonna come to me for help next time, and she's gonna be like the big boss. It's such a annoying mentality.
But the thing is, as the diasporans, because we see how other countries, or we see how things are done, we want to take some of these best practices and implement them back home through education, through training, and also sharing our networks, because we're exposed to international standards. But it's not as easy as it sounds to actually convince people back home that, okay, we've got to do things this way. You come in and they see you as a threat.
However, though, I always like to put out this challenge.
Yeah.
That it is not what the Botswana can do for you, but what you can do for Botswana. Don't you think that we have to we're at the point now where we just have to say, listen, I'm not going to wait for the government. I'm just going to go do my thing in my community to make my difference, and just fight it all out, rather than waiting, because the government can't do everything.
No, I'm not talking about the government here, actually. Of course, yes, that's true. The government cannot do everything. So even in the level of doing things without the government, for example, I'm doing Botswana Community. This is a non-government organization. I still face lots of challenges from my own people, because they see me as a threat. So now it's worse when I try to take things from here to Botswana. My colleagues, they see me as, oh, she thinks she's better. She thinks she's got better ideas. And, so that still, gets reflected through just the community, not just the government.
But you get that anyway, wouldn't you? In any business environment, you always get that competitive.
That's true. But when you are a diaspora, it becomes 10
times more.
Yeah.
That is why, if you're a diaspora, it's always best to invest your resources in the local community that you know.
Yes.
Because you can relate with family members, rather than going to a big city where you don't know anybody, and then you have to start learning your way through. You know.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Yes.
Okay, so cool. So, would you has the security issue, does that play a part in reinvesting back in Africa? security?
Yes. There's always security issues back home. This is where, in a way, the government could actually protect its people by investing in security. For example, if you try to do things all by yourself and you try to trust your family and relatives. I've done that actually. Trusted my family and my relatives, sent them money to do something for me, which never got done. And there
Yes.
are no places or things in place at the moment that the government is doing to protect its citizens from things like this. This is where, yes, security could be one of the
But
things
that's
that.
not if you send money to your family and friends and to people and they consume that money without using it for the task, I mean, nobody can really blame the government for that, can they?
No, I'm not blaming the government. But then if there were strategic channels that I could use, which the government safeguards, then I would use those rather than using my family and friends. You see what I mean?
You mean like the banking structure, you mean, or you mean, I don't understand you correctly.
Possibly.
Mm.
Yes, possibly. If we've got policies in place to protect money coming in, especially from diasporas, then diasporans can actually build the economy.
From your communication with the Botswana diasporas in the UK, do they really have that passion to go back home and invest?
They do. Yes, they do. I know for sure because a lot of them, they're actually investing back home even when they're still here because they see themselves retiring back home, not here. So they're already doing that.
And do you know how they manage that? Just so that whoever's watching can also learn. Is there any advice that you will give to diasporas? So listen, before you go and invest and send your money and get on a plane, don't just sell your house and just move, boom. And I mean, is there a process you would advise?
I would say just be careful with your funds. Don't trust your family and relatives because obviously they're going to borrow and they never give back. And in most cases, do things or use channels that are trustworthy because there's no proper protection for us diasporans. You could actually trust another diasporan because they have experience or they have gone through some similar things rather than trusting people who don't know the lives of diasporans.
I would say for a country that got so much vegetation, that farming would have been a great market to get into, a good industry to get into in Africa. But I see less people who are interested to farm. I mean, I always wonder why.
Because I would think maybe because farming is labor intensive and it's really better to do it when you're there or to be close all the time because it's hands-on.
Thank you for watching the Ronnie J Show. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to participate, please go to theronniejshow.com or email drip.co.uk. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, and welcome back to the Ronnie J Show. Today we're talking with Dr. Trust from Botswana. We are going through some very key points to understand what are the factors that can attract diasporas to reinvest into Africa, and also what the government can do to help encourage diasporas to come and invest in Africa. So I'll just let Dr. Trust go through a few of the points that she has so that we can discuss them further. Go ahead, Doctor.
Okay, great. Yes, some of the points maybe might be repeating because I've already said a few things earlier, but like I said earlier, the government can implement right policies to attract these immigrants and their descendants so that they can support the economy of their home country. So diasporas can contribute towards building the physical capital and the productivity. That is they can help boost job creation, even the standard of living, and higher growth. They can accelerate higher growth. Diasporas send money in the form of remittances, and it's a lot of money. If these remittances are spent on goods and services, then this can support the economic activity. And if these remittances are used to invest, they can boost the home country's capital. So diasporas can invest directly in business opportunities and government bonds. They can also support productivity by funding education, training, healthcare. For example, Ronnie is actually investing in healthcare, which is amazing. So by virtue of education and training, diasporas network convey knowledge and expertise, because most of these people are highly educated people from their countries. So they when they go to these international countries, they develop powerful networks. By contributing to the design of educational curriculum, like the example I gave of myself, and training, diasporas can raise the quality of education. They can provide professional development and leadership training programs, combining their skills, their contacts and know-how with their insights into the global opportunities and local customs. And local customs. Diasporas can help home countries' businesses overcome hurdles, and this is through raising efficiency and expand into new markets. They can be powerful advisors to governments in helping to improve quality of public institutions and advocate to foreign businesses looking to expand. I can give an example.
Yeah, go on.
I was saying on the last point, I can give an example of like Indian-born executives in the US-based technology companies, for example. They played a critical role in giving their companies confidence to outsource the work to India. Therefore, that really built the economy of India just through outsourcing.
So more people, more Africans in diaspora need to encourage organizations where they work to try and invest back in Africa. But this might be a challenge if the African individual does not trust his own community or does not trust the environment.
Yeah, that's true. But this can be done through companies. Say, for example, I'm working for a tech company here, so I can convince my company to actually go back and invest in my home country. Yes. But this of course can only be facilitated by the support of the government. Do you see the connection? Yes.
Yeah. You got the company here, you got the government here, you got you in the middle. You're the one initiating this communication.
Exactly.
But before that is done, you have to be convinced and you have to make a decision that, listen, I believe that A can work in B. Because you don't want to put A at risk and then, send them to Botswana and knowing that it is not safe or knowing that there are challenges on ground. So it all comes back again to us as Africans in diaspora, making that conscious decision to say, listen, I'm not going to wait for the government. I'm going to start the move to try and make a difference.
Yes, definitely. I totally agree with you. Of course, because you as an individual, you know how your home country operates, and also you know how the things or the skills you want to try and bring operate. So you make a conscious decision, okay, how can I penetrate or how can I help my people, even if the government is not involved?
People watching now will be saying, Don't mind Dr. Trust, man. She's enjoying her life in London. She doesn't know how difficult things are here in Botswana. That's why she's saying all that. Why don't she come to Botswana, come and see how difficult things are? And then we could...
But the thing is, I do go home often. So I do know how things work back home. So you can only do these things if you are really in touch with your home country. So that going back, it becomes an easy transition because you already know both worlds.
If you were to give a concluding remark to Africans in diaspora, and especially Botswanas who are watching, what would you say to them to encourage them?
I would say diasporas are powerful beings. They're powerful links to the world. And if diasporas can be encouraged or can be given that support, I mean, the support doesn't necessarily mean monetary support. Any sort of support that the diasporas seek, this would actually help the home country in many ways, because in the instance the home country has invested in you. I mean, I'm not talking about the government here. Even, you know, there is a saying in Africa that a child is raised by the community, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know that, yes. So you are representing your community as a diaspora. So because you've been raised by your community, your duty wherever you are is to look back to your community and see how you can help. And this is all we ever do as diasporas. This is why we work tirelessly for our home countries.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the conversations. It was a pleasure talking with you. For you diasporas that are watching, we are putting the show together just to encourage one another, to try to say to ourselves, it's time that we should stop waiting for the government to fix the country, but what we can do to help fix our continent. One more time, thank you so much, Doctor, and always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for bringing me in, and thank you, diasporas. The power is in your hands. All you've got to do is work together as diasporas, because even here we're really divided. We need to work together because we are the ones who can actually bring changes to our home countries.
Amazing. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for watching the Ronnie J Show. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to participate, please go to theronniejshow.com or email drip.co.uk. Thank you.
Ronnie J Show.
Ask not.
I'm going to get really deep with you and your audience now. I'm sorry if it shocks anyone, but I personally, when I was 16 years old, I got raped.
Ronnie J Show.
Just do it. Because once you start, you'll then improve.
Ronnie J Show.
Ask not.
And why do men cheat, or why does anybody cheat on their partner? The thing that really triggered me when I was going on my walk and I was thinking about this was that we actually blame the other person.
Ask not.
Ronnie J Show.
They haven't really done internal work that requires to build the resilience, the strength, and the self-awareness of them.
What your country can do for you. We must be very careful not to compare our relationships. It's toxic. Ask what you can do for your country.
Ronnie J Show.
Thank you for watching the Ronnie J Show. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to participate, please go to theronniejshow.com or email drip